Hi there. With all of the extra stress and anxiety that the response to the COVID-19 virus has caused and the stay-at-home orders issued by governors all across the country, including our own Governor Hogan, I thought it would be super helpful to have a public conversation with one of my most trusted therapist colleagues, and I'm lucky enough that I've got one to join me. With me is Kathleen Elizabeth Childs. She is the founder and owner of Maryland Psychotherapy Services and Elizabeth Childs Coaching, LLC, which we will kind of get into over the course of the video. Liz, say hello.
Hi, how are you?
And Liz,
my name is Liz. Sorry.
And what are your certifications, Liz?
I am an LCPC. I am a licensed clinical professional counselor and a certified trauma therapist.
Okay, very, very excellent. Liz, I'm just going to get right into some of the questions that you and I talked about kind of in advance going into this. And I think the most basic question, the most important question right now with what everyone is going through, adults, children, what are some of the signs that an individual could benefit from seeing what I call a talk therapist?
There's actually a number of signs that you want to look for. In staying home and in being in quarantine, one of the biggest risks that we have is everybody is online right now, and everybody is, doom scrolling is what we've actually termed it, is that this can actually lead to a lot of negative emotions, rumination. So the biggest red flags that you want to look for is, are you having a change in appetite? Are you eating too much, too little? Are you having difficulty getting out of bed? Are you having difficulty functioning? And there's been a lot of people that have lost jobs or have anxiety or fear about being unemployed or losing their jobs. And how am I going to meet those next bills? And a lot of people are falling into depression. We're even seeing lots of people having domestic violence issues. So a lot of times you get to pay attention to, are you lashing out at your partner, at your children? And are you backing up on really not beneficial coping mechanisms such as addictions? We're seeing an uptick and an upswing in substance abuse behaviors. And right now, during the quarantine, alcohol abuse has quadrupled in the past 2 months.
Wow.
We're also witnessing a lot of child abuse reports and cases. So you want to look at and pay attention to, are you able to function? Are you able to get out of bed? Are you able to face the day? How are you feeling? And it's going to be really important to gauge how you're feeling, because like I always tell my patients and my clients, you got to feel it to heal it. Let it go.
That's kind of crazy to hear about. One of the things you mentioned to me was the idea of waking up with anxiety, waking up with dread or a sense of tension. And that really spoke to me, because I sometimes have that feeling where I wake up, I just sit up and I'm instantly thinking about the day, my cases, the conflicts my clients are going through. And so that resonated with me as well.
Absolutely. And, the prescription that I actually give to people most often is there's going to be 4 things that are going to be absolutely vital and crucial in dealing with this time. Whatever you're dealing with is, 1, eat proper nutrition. It's going to be huge. 2, move. Even if it's just getting outside to walk for 10 minutes off on your own is going to be super important. 3 is getting enough sleep, and enough sleep, but not too much, because that's when we can get kind of sleep hangovers. And then we end up feeling like we don't want to do anything. Like an object of rest tends to stay at rest, right? And then meditation. Meditation is going to actually give you more insight into you. You can become an observer of your behaviors and your actions rather than constantly judging yourself, which is what we have a tendency to do when we look at things online. And then looking at other people and what they're doing or not doing in quarantine and thinking, well, I should or shouldn't be doing that. So what I tell them is these are the 4 things that are super critical and vital to your overall health and well-being. And when you feel like you can't get a handle on that is exactly when you need to talk to someone.
Wow. Social media envy gets worse in quarantine, I think, is what I'm taking away.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
I imagine you're not seeing patients face to face like you used to. I know you're doing a lot of, if not exclusively, remote sessions. Tell me how you feel about that. Do you feel it's effective? What's going on with kind of remote therapeutic sessions?
Actually, I find it to be incredibly effective. So, like, I've actually been reading articles online, like with all of my colleagues across the country, that everyone is doing virtual reality sessions, like via video conferencing. So, as long as I can see you and I can hear you and I can read the emotions on your face, I can see your body language, and I can even see your energy, which is part of one of my gifts and what I do, then it's perfectly acceptable. And people are able to open up and talk online. And now they don't even have to leave the comfort of their home. And if they feel like they have kids or a partner at home, they don't want to be overheard. There's many people who can actually go out to their car and have privacy. And they don't have to come into the office. There's no stigmatization. They don't have to be worried about being heard or being seen there by other people in their community. So it's actually incredibly convenient and still goes under insurance. We still bill out just as regularly as usual. You pay your copay, however means that the therapist has, and it's incredibly convenient and beneficial.
We are kind of, at least in my personal experience with my clients, we're seeing some similar kind of effects of remote working. It's in terms of in certain court appearances, it's inefficient to drive to the courthouse from the office when you're going on the client's going on the clock. The drive sometimes is a longer period of time than the actual court appearance for some of these very kind of minute things. So price kind of, there's an increase and decrease there, which my clients are enjoying. But more importantly, and more speaking to what you're talking about, is we're doing a lot of online mediations, remote mediations. And what we're seeing anecdotally at this point is that some clients react so much better to being in their own confines, their den, if it's their car, their home office. They don't have that kind of feeling of intimidation of going to like an office building downtown, going to the other side's office, trying to find a new building that they've never been to before. That causes anxiety for people on a basic level. So the ability to stay kind of in your comfort zone for a number of clients has allowed them to, I think, make and reach decisions that they might not have gotten to otherwise, because they don't have that kind of like their hackles up, right? They're not as on guard because they're not in kind of like either a stranger's office or even worse, opposing counsel's office.
Absolutely. I mean, because they're not having to drive all the way to my office, so they don't have to spend on the gas money. It's like they have less time in like the commute. And then I found that people actually feel more empowered and they feel more comfortable being in their own home. And for people that have like PTSD, for those who don't know, post-traumatic stress disorder, which I specialize in treating, like a lot of times they don't feel comfortable leaving their homes. People with agoraphobia who are afraid to leave their home and be in public spaces. People with anxiety who anytime they have to go to someplace new causes a tremendous amount of panic. So this could actually be incredibly beneficial, and even to people who have disabilities, who have trouble getting around, or who can't get into a building because a clinician may be on a second floor that it may not be conducive to that, or perhaps they're elderly. And so this enables them to be able to talk to someone, to be able to get all those things out and feel seen and heard and understood, and thereby they're able to release those emotions and begin to shift and change their mindset and their mood. It's incredibly important.
Excellent. Some of the things that you talked about just earlier in the video was something I definitely wanted to get out there. And what I'm interested in is, what are you seeing in terms of anecdotal, I'm not asking for statistics or anything like that, but changes and patterns and things you're seeing in your patients that you correlate to the lockdown, the response to COVID-19, whether it's stress of losing job, losing income, or you want to avoid being sick, or you have a loved one that like really can't get sick. These stresses are all over the place. What are you seeing kind of your patients in a kind of a macro sense relaying to you about this whole thing that the country's been going through for the past 2.5 months?
Well, I've been seeing, I'm actually fully, like, I know that you and I had talked about this earlier. It's like, I'm fully expecting to have like COVID babies in like 8, 9 months at this point. And I'm fully expecting to see more divorce. I'm going to be referring more people to you as well when they realize that they can't, or they don't, or they're not willing to work on a relationship. But like what I've been seeing a lot more domestic violence cases. There have been less calls to police and to domestic violence centers, but the ones that they are getting are very, very serious. And so, because there's also less availability and less materials and less services available, because the staff are also going to bare bones, and they're trying to protect the staff from getting COVID-19 and from getting sick. I've also been seeing an uprise in child abuse cases. So I've actually had a number of like teachers calling and reporting and saying, you know, I'm even in remote sessions, I'm having students like staying after class, you know, in the room, in the virtual room, and then telling me things that are happening that they're seeing. And some of them are truly unspeakable. And then we're also seeing a lot of relapse. I mean, people who have been in recovery for decades can't get to AA, NA meetings. They're not being able to connect to their communities, which has been their backbone and their strength. So it's really important that people reach out. And when we start seeing, and I've definitely been seeing a lot more fear and anxiety and anticipatory grief, and people are going, but things aren't the way that they used to be. When are we going to get back to the way that it used to be? Well, sometimes I wonder if we shouldn't be rushing quite so quickly back to what it was. This is a huge opportunity for reset, to be able to reprioritize and to take that time to be with our families. And then we can learn new skills, and we can get other jobs, and we can actually start to do other things. So it's about shifting that mindset so that it can be beneficial rather than ruminating and isolating. So social distancing is not isolation. And I have to stress that with my patients and my clients, because isolation is to depression what gasoline is to fire. It's only going to make it worse. So connecting over any type of media in a way that is productive for you is going to be crucial at this point.
Wow. I picked up on something you just said. You made, and I know that you do it all intentionally, you made a distinction between patients and clients. And I know that that is because, in addition to being a therapist and having a background in trauma work, is that you also have started a life coaching endeavor. And so I think that's like fascinating stuff. But I think I'll give you the opportunity to explain what exactly is a life coach, what does it entail, and what do you love about it? Because I know you love it.
Oh, I love all of it. I mean, because I love people and I love helping people. And so therapy is going to be more for people that need to have to clear a lot of the things that are going on in their lives, in their past. It's very introspective. It has a tendency to look more backward and then going, okay, so what are some of those behaviors that you're bringing forward? So, and therapy is actually done on my licensure. I'm board certified and licensed in the state of Maryland. And I see people in the office. I take insurance because I'm paneled and networked in most insurance companies. And I use different treatment modalities, and I take notes and documentation. It's all HIPAA compliant and very ethical. So, but like with coaching can be for anyone, anywhere in the world. I don't have a licensure with that. I don't accept insurance with that. And I'm able to use any modality and any treatment at my disposal. So I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I focus on working with energy medicine and helping people to clear things, as well as utilizing almost 19 years of psychotherapy. And I incorporate emotional intelligence in teaching people how to create and manifest the life that they really want. So one has a tendency to focus more on a disorder and like a diagnosis, a prognosis. It's very clinical. And one is more direct and goal driven. It's short term, very focused and results driven. So the cost and the buy-in is much greater, but the results are for people who want to take their lives from just kind of surviving and doing okay and getting by to more to excellence. And it's more a lot of collaborative accountability and getting to the point where I want to do this. I've already solved and, you know, done a lot of this with work with my family and with my partner or with my children. And now I want to manifest more of what I want. And, you know, we go and get those results, and we actually clear and heal anything that's blocking you in having that life.
One of the things you said to me when we were getting ready to record this session is also the life coaching has a different or reduced feeling of stigma. And you and I think on the same page that there shouldn't be any stigma at all with therapy, but I think everyone kind of recognizes that there is for certain people. They feel that there's something wrong with them, that they have done something wrong if they talk to somebody. And that, you know, you and I don't agree with that. Many people don't agree with that, but that's out there. And we kind of made a comparison in our kind of chat about life coaching feels different, right? It feels like you are strategizing to go out there and meet a goal. Whereas kind of maybe if you don't know any better, therapy feels like you've got to fix yourself, or you have to fix a problem that you have. Really, you know.
Yeah. And you know, it's like there is like a stigmatization, because like if I were to say to you, like, Amos, you need to talk to somebody, you need to see a therapist, you'd be like, oh, excuse me? You know, like there is a stigma attached to it. And especially like, you know, for older generations. But if I were to say, you know, Amos, maybe you should, you know, why don't you go like hire a coach if you want to like have more things in your life, or you want to do something, or you want to strive for this goal, you may be a coach. And you'd be like, yeah, coach. It has a much more empowering sense to it. And people like also get inspired because, for example, I don't share a lot of things and disclose. Like there's a lot of disclosure in life coaching, because people get inspired and they go, oh, so you've already created this result in your life. You're already doing that. And like you have testimonials and you have clients, and then they're all like, this is what Liz was able to give to me and what we were able to accomplish and overcome. And I feel fantastic. Whereas with therapy, it is closed. It is open. Like I am tabula rasa. You're supposed to put your stuff on me, and like we rehash, and it's intuitive, and like we look inside and very introspective, and people, you know, often just pay their copay and leave the office. So, and it has a very definitively different feel to it. But I find both have their place. Both have absolutely their reasons and purposes for being. So yes, I think that sometimes when somebody says like, you know, you need to see a therapist, it feels like, oh, I'm going to be diagnosed, and then it's going to go on my medical record, and oh, there's something wrong with me that I have to fix. Whereas coaching is like, it's taking like all your gifts and your skills and utilizing that in a strength-based pattern to be able to take your any weaknesses or any what's in the gap and growing that to a point where you're going, yes, I have a full acceptance and love of myself, and now I can go and I can accomplish these things. And like your coach gets to be like your life cheerleader, whereas a therapist is more your guide, and they're helping you to find your way.
Yeah. Well, Liz, thank you. Take a minute and tell anyone who's watching this video where they can find out more information about you and your practice.
Absolutely. So you can actually find me. There's so many different ways. So my practice, if you are a resident in the state of Maryland and you have insurance, or if you don't, you can look at MD, as in Maryland, Psych, PSYCH services, all one word, mdpsychservices.com. You can also look me up on LinkedIn under Kathleen Childs. I'm easy to find. I'm also, like most people, actually find me through Psychology Today. Very easy. I'm based out there in Ellicott City. And then for life coaching, you can actually find me. It's a play on my name. You can find me at healyourinnerchilds.com. And I actually offer a free 30-minute consultation to anyone who would be interested in just talking, just venting, or maybe you want to know more about the services. I am happy to be of service.
That is tremendous. If anyone is interested in talking with me after viewing this video, you can call my office at 410-997-0203. All of my information, like Liz's, is in the description of this video below. Thank you very much. And if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it, share it, and comment on it. Liz, thank you so very much for taking time to talk to everyone today. And everybody, have a good weekend.